Right, ads. Breaking news. I've called us for this podcast. I think it's really important, especially coming off the back of our podcast with Will Maden. And one of the key points from that podcast was the 1% details. So I want to talk about that on this little emergency podcast because I think it's relevant and I think it's really, 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 really important. And it's definitely going to help get you more bookings or make you stand out more in the industry compared to somebody who doesn't do the 1%. Are you the guy that does the 1%, Adam?
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I was waiting for the usual intro. Good morning, good after evening. This thing. This is a more informal, is it?
Well,
Little.
yeah, because this is like breaking. This is like, I've had an idea. We need to just get this out there for the people.
Well, the podcast with Will really got me thinking afterwards about not just like the 1% of how he, like the example he gave was making sure he stays like an extra 10 minutes after he's packed down to speak to people and say goodbye and make sure he's available to chat to and things like that. And I was like, this is like across every, like meeting couples, your inquiry, your website, like there's so many areas where you can implement these little 1%. So it's got me, I mean, I'd like to think that I do try and have them, but it's consciously thinking about them all the time, isn't it? That he's got me thinking about how many of them I'm actually doing and how I can improve it. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it's like when I went into the wedding industry awards, a bit like yourself, all of a sudden your brain's like, shit, I need to be better than everybody else. How do we do it? And then you start stacking these 1%. So it'll be things like through your website, shit, how can I make my website better? How can I make that better? But
Hmm.
it's making it better across the whole of your business from your website to your social media to when you get inquiries, how you deal with the inquiries, what you do with that inquiry. Then, when you've got the booking, what do you do then? What extra percentages can you add there to give more value to your couples? And then on the wedding day itself, what can you do to give more value and give the extra percent? And then after the wedding, so you've got every single area where you can improve things. Just by that 1% is going to make a big difference to your business. So, where do you think we should start with it and then
Well,
discuss 1%?
you mentioned the awards there, and we've said this a lot. That's a really good motivator to push you to think about your 1% because as soon as you enter, you're like, oh shit, my business is on show now. I need it to be good. So then it does gives you a kick up the arse to start with your website, doesn't it? Um,
Yeah, it does.
but yeah, all right, website and social media marketing. Let's go before anyone inquires. What's those extra details that most people don't do that you can have to be able to be seen and get these leads coming in?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can talk about me and as a singer and entertainer, what my website had to do and how I changed things was just show more real weddings, people having fun and selling the experience rather than selling me, if that makes a sense. Selling the outcome of what those couples are going to get rather than look at me, I'm a dead sexy singer. It's a bit like with the videography world. You have to showcase your films because that's what you're selling. But selling the experience, I think, of how you work on a wedding day. And for me, it's as, if not equally important as the work you do, is how you are and the experience a couple has booking you for their wedding.
Yeah, I think you say obviously we need to showcase our work, but most videographers I know just show their work, and I can't really think of anyone that also has as videographers in terms of like video content. We should have promo videos of us behind the scenes at weddings or talking to camera, explaining the process, explaining how that experience can feel for someone who has you at their wedding. Video testimonials from couples, like all these video things that should be second nature to us as videographers, but most of us just showcase the pretty films. Um, I remember you always having video testimonials on your website, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes total sense because it's like really visual proof for someone who is thinking about inquiring. But most people don't make the effort to, oh, I've got to how am I going to get couples to leave me a testimonial, and then I've got to film it, and then I've got that. I would say that's an extra going the extra mile.
You have to put the effort in to do it. I mean, it all changed for me when I switched my website over and my social media over as well. Of instead of it being all about me and pretty pictures of me stood there by a fucking microphone, when I switched it to show the experience that people will have when they book me, made a difference. But one of the things that I found straight away is it got me more of my ideal client. My avatar came to
Mm,
me when they saw that because they knew exactly what they were getting rather than just, well, who's this guy looking like is a nice singer? Well, this guy's got the similar-ish website. Who do we go for? Well, let's go for the guy where we can see what he delivers and in a really cool way you're showing so much more of what the outcome is rather than yourself. So that I think that's a 1%, isn't it? Maybe try and I think on your side make it try and make the personal side of the website where you're talking about yourself really important. Whether it's links to your Instagram of you behind the scenes, whether you've got them video testimonials on there as well, where couples can hear other couples, saying how great you are and how great you are to work with. So I've had a couple recently booked me who literally booked a full team of us because she kind of knew ish of us, but she knew how well we worked together and how we were on a wedding rather than what we delivered. Do you know what I mean? They like the fact that we're friendly, we're great, we have a work as a great team, we all have a good laugh. If we have a good laugh, they're going to have a great laugh, and it's just
mm.
showcasing all that and letting couples know that yeah, you're not just the brilliant videographer, or you're not just going to rock the party, but you're going to be brilliant to have around on the wedding at the same time. So I think showcasing that is really important, and maybe that's the
That's
extra
that's
percentage.
that for me is the way to stand out as a videographer anyway. But I would imagine florists, hair and makeup artists, like DJs, anyone that because like the relationship with your couples and how you are on the day, even if you're just setting up your florals in the background, like showing people how you are as a person and how you're going to interact with the day and elevate it rather than just be in the background. Uh, that is something that most people won't do across all the different types of industries. And that, yeah, definitely that can help you stand out, I think.
Well, they want
And
to feel
just,
that you're the friend as well, don't they? And if you show
yeah.
them, you
And
want
I
them to
think,
look at your stuff and go, they could be my friend.
I
And
think I think nowadays people are getting a lot better at doing that on socials, showing more behind the scenes, showing more authentic like content, you know. But I still would say having it on your website is just another touch point, and because maybe not as many people are looking on websites anymore compared to just social media profiles, but it's still important to have on there for
well,
sure.
as we know from what Willard said, he doesn't even have a website. And I think maybe that's another 1% kind of is making it so easy for people to make a decision and get in contact with you about it.
Yeah, streamlining
Yeah.
that process.
I mean, that 1% actually might even mean taking something away from your website and making the whole process a bit easier. There's not as much things to read, you know. Do you know what I mean? And people don't stay
Yeah.
on websites long anyway, as we know from
But I think all
stats.
that talk about, you know, having video testimonials and showing your like a insight into your work and your experience rather than just showing off the pretty pictures of your service. That obviously applies to social media as well as your website. Like if it just wherever the attention is, wherever people are looking for videographers or for suppliers, whether it is a website or a social media page, make sure that content is up there. Um, Something that I learned heard recently was your top three Instagram posts that you can you know you can pin your top three to your profile. Make sure that they have like their cover image on them has a bit of text saying, "Hi, this is me. This is what I offer. This is who I'm about," and make sure the visuals are really good and have those three top pinned things really explain your service and your experience and like really think about if someone's going to land on your social page, the first things they're going to look at is those top three pinned posts. Are they selling your business as well as they can, or is it just another nice film or another nice carousel of your pretty flowers? You know?
Yeah, I think the about me one, yeah, or this is me, and then it goes to it clicks to a video when they open it up, and it tells them all about them and what they do and how they make your wedding awesome.
Yeah, big
It's got to
time.
be up there. I think I've got that as my first pin. I think my second one is another video of a video, sorry, like an audio testimonial I got from a couple, and I overlaid it over images and film from their wedding. So that was quite a good one to have.
Yeah, that worked for you, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. Adam, while these 1% are just pinging in my brain, I'm just breaking just to quickly throw it in before I forget about it. Extra 1%. If anybody recommends you for your services, anybody, if it's another supplier, whatever, instantly, not instantly, make sure you follow up and say a big thank you. Go on, drop me a DM or a voice note and say thanks so much for
Uh-huh.
recommending me. That's an extra 1%. And some people don't do it. I mean, I recommend people all the time. I very rarely get people come up to me and thanking me. I make sure that if I know where an inquiry's come from, I'll contact that person and say, even if I don't get the booking, I'll say thanks so much for considering me.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I'm with you. Yeah. Yeah. So
That's
another
a quick. That's
supplier.
just a quick extra 1%. I've just had to throw in there while we're chatting.
Is it as you just had a message from someone saying thanks for recommending me? It's just reminded you.
No, no, no. I did it this morning because I knew that Tom Harrington had recommended me for somebody, and just sent him a voice next morning, mate. Awesome, thanks, mate. And he's like, "Yeah, no worries, mate. Always do." And again, it just keeps you in their mind, and it keeps you chatting, it keeps your relationship
Yeah.
going, and it also you showing them appreciation for them recommending you.
Even
Maybe
if you
they'll do it again.
even if you can't do the wedding, like I still I say, oh, I've just had an inquiry for thingy, like thanks so much. I can't do it, but I appreciate you asking anyway.
That's
Um,
the one. That's a 1%.
and then yeah, they go, oh, no, don't worry, next time, you know. I'll take it one step further. What I always do when I recommend other suppliers to couples, I always say, make sure you tell them that I've sent you
Yeah, I do the
because
same. Yeah.
because they don't necessarily do that otherwise. I think it just helps them go, oh, okay. And I always say, they've make sure you tell them that Adam sent you. And I'm sure that if you do that, they'll look after you, sort of. And I don't say like, oh, it'll make a difference, but it just in their mind, it's like, oh yeah, we will, because yeah, maybe it'll make a difference. Like, do you know what I mean? The psychology of like, if I've said make sure you recommend me because they'll really look after you if they know it's come from me. In their mind, they're going, oh, might get us something, might get us a bit of this. Like, it's not going to get them discount. I'm not saying that they'll get discount if they mention me, but I think that some people's brains probably go there. So then it just gives them,
You're indirectly networking with people even without them fucking hardly knowing about it. But then they
mm,
will get to know about it. So when I take a booking, for instance, I always follow up with if I know they need recommends DJs, video, photography, sax player, whatever. I put a full list down there,
yeah,
and
yeah.
the very end of the email, I say all these guys, they're all friends of mine. They're brilliant at what they do. Please tell them that I've sent you, and they'll look after you. And pretty much that's it.
Mm.
Um, and then every one of those people, when they get an inquiry, they'll know it's come from me and they'll be like, fucking hell, how is that so nice? Um,
But just, I don't think necessarily that couples always think to go, oh, our photographer told us to come to you. If you specifically tell them, make sure you say it's come from me, it just reminds them to do it. And then, because like you said, you recommend people all the time, you never get a message back. It's probably half the time they didn't know it's come from you. Um,
Potentially, yeah. I get it. I get it. I get inquiries through my contact form, and I always ask where people have seen me. Quite often, it'll say recommend, but it won't tell you where the recommends come from. It'll just say
yeah,
recommend, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I wonder where
yeah,
that come from.
yeah. So
But
then
then
you can't use
I
that.
follow up. Then I actually follow up and ask them, and it's another talking point, which is a great communication skill when you've got an inquiry, and it gives you a question to ask, which means they feel obliged to answer back. I always ask, okay, I see it's come from a recommend. Can you please tell me where it's come from and who it's come from? And then,
Mm.
but when you're getting potentially the opportunity for them to message you back, but then you find out who it is from, and then you can then go and message them and say thanks for recommending me. So
Yeah, and you're also uh, kind of leaning into eradicating ghosting there as well because you get an inquiry and like you say, you've gone in with a question of, oh, hi, I've noticed it was a recommendation. Oh, great. Who was it? Or if they say like, Howard recommended us, Howard recommended you to us, I'd say, oh, brilliant. Yeah, how have you booked him? And you just having a question to ask, they feel more compelled to reply because they've got to answer a question rather than it just being like, great, thanks. That's good to hear. Then they don't need to reply to that, do they?
yeah, I
So
mean,
then,
listen, there's another quick 1% is when you're replying to your couples, you've got to lead with a question and probably finish with a question. Uh, Certainly leading with a question is a good one, which is another little tactical move that I've employed lately, which I never used to do. I always used to finish with a question. I've started leading with a question now.
hmm,
Uh, so maybe we can jump on that topic as it's flowing.
okay,
Okay.
go on then.
So it's the 1% you can do when you get an inquiry. Um, so yes. I mean, this goes into with another topic of ghosting is how to avoid ghosting or how to avoid complete silence. And it's the use of questions without a shadow of a doubt is the one to be able to do it. And look, I still get ghosted even if I do ask questions. And you're never going to be able to get away from being ghosted
Yeah,
because
there's a
people just
percentage
leave.
that will always ghost regardless. Doesn't matter
Yeah,
what you do,
it's
but
just, and I just find it rude. But it's not rude. Sometimes it's just human nature. We can't help it. We just don't want to get in contact with people. But if you're listening and you're a bride and groom, please reply to people, even if you don't book them, even if they're out of your budget. Just let them know. So anyway, yeah, 1% with when you get an inquiry. So when that comes through, well, firstly, I know we talked about it in the past, is just your speed of reply is where you can have. I think I saw a statistic the other day. The people that reply within the first 5 minutes are more likely to get a booking. And that this was a podcast I listened to, not about the wedding industry. It was a completely other thing. And I thought, wow, it gave this company an edge over the competitors because they phoned them within 5 minutes of getting an inquiry. And I thought, wow. And it just made such a difference to their bottom line and their overall profit throughout the year. They worked it out, having that instant reply to couples. So there's your 1%. As soon as you get an inquiry, if you can, be replying as quick as possible. Because
mm,
as you know, Adam, people might be in the wedding planning zone during
hmm
that time, and that's when they want the reply. So first 1% is definitely speed of reply when you get an inquiry. And then how you reply to them. I say this is more of a 1% to help you really. It's just you want to hear back. You want to get a message back from a couple. So using a question to lead with is always a good one. So one thing that I've been doing recently is asking them if the date's locked in with the venue. Um, and as well, I know I talk about this on the course of I'm just out at the minute, but I just wanted to double check that is this date fully locked in, and then don't ask anything else. Wait for them to reply back, and then you can say, okay, well, oh, brilliant. Listen, I'm out at the minute. I'll get back when I get back. I'll send you some of the details. And then you can actually lead there with another question, just a quick one. I'm trying to create dialogue between me and the inquirer, even before I've sent anything off that's got pricing on.
hmm
There's a big debate of whether you send your price in there or not, or whether you have your meeting first. I think after that, then I think you should include your pricing because the last thing you want is take somebody on a big long path and them not being able to afford you at the end of it.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying though. Rather than just replying to an inquiry when you get chance with all the info, if you can say, "Thanks, got your inquiry," like just check that your date's definitely booked. Oh yes, it is. Thanks. Yeah. Oh great. Okay, I'm just out at the minute. I'll get back to you later. Okay, thanks. Yeah, like, and you're asking questions along the way. Like you say, you've got back and forth, and they will then feel more compelled to then keep that conversation going, rather than if it was just one inquiry reply they just might dismiss it and go, yeah, we'll read that later and ghost. But if you've
Yeah,
already had a few messages back and forth, then you're already in that conversation and it's they're more likely to keep it going, I think.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You gain that momentum with the couple because a lot of people just reply, "Hi, thanks for asking. I'm free on your date. Here's my details. See you later." And most people will reply like that.
Mm,
So
mm.
to maybe you could stack if you wanted to try this one, you could stack another 1% on top of that one and actually give them the call within that 5 minutes and say, "I'm out. Is the date locked in?" You can actually start talking to people then.
Yeah.
It's a bit that can be sometimes couples. I don't know how you feel about this, Adam, but sometimes people don't want you to ring them. I don't know if you've had that kind of experience because I've tried it in the past. They've not answered, and then I've texted and they've replied to the text. I'm like, they just don't want to talk.
I,
So, I think.
I don't know. Maybe that speaks to Gen Z or whatever, because like I would rather text than be on the phone
Yeah.
sometimes.
I
Maybe
think
that's
there's, I think,
the
I think
newer
there's two.
generation thing that are just avoidant of speaking in person and just want a text. But also, I don't know if it's a bit corporate that for a wedding, the wedding business. It's like the cold call sales tactic
Not,
thing.
it's
It,
not a
it
cold call though, is it? It's just, oh, I'm just out at the minute. thanking them for inquiring and just checking if that's their definite date. And they say yes, have a
Mm.
bit of a chat. Oh, I love the venue. I can't speak to you long, but I'll get back to you in a bit. But I love the venue. I was
Yeah.
there last year. Anyway, I don't want to take any
But
more of your time. I'll get in touch with you when I get back and reply to your email.
yeah,
And they've
it
gone, yes,
undeniably,
he took the time to call
yeah.
me and he's attentive.
There'll be people that love that and then that think like that, and then there'll be people that don't. But then what I guess what you're doing is if that is are you as a supplier, if you're comfortable doing that sort of stuff and that's how you like to communicate, then you're finding your people then, aren't you? And you're finding your ideal clients. Because then if you
I've
do
done it
that,
before, and I've had conversations with couples like for ages, and they just want to
Mm.
talk. And they are that type of couple, which is they're the great ones to ring. But I suppose you don't know that at the start, do you? But so
Do
yeah,
you
it
know what?
depends what
Actually,
you're looking for.
in favor of what you're saying, I've just booked someone. We've just booked the wedding together for Michelle, and it was we were trying to arrange a phone call for ages, back and forth over a couple of weeks, and when I finally did get on the phone with her, it was like she was so lovely and bubbly and chatty, and it was like that was great, and it was she was already like she booked pretty much there and then, but I was going into that phone call thinking that I had to talk to her, explain like what I offer and explain the process, explain the experience and stuff. In her mind, she was just like, yeah, yeah, we've seen all your stuff. We love you. Yeah, yeah, great. And it was like almost like a formality because I'd said like we need, yeah, it'd be great to have a phone call. In her mind, it was already so that's why I think she was a bit like sort of so blasé about it. If when she initially inquired, in hindsight, if I'd have just rung her there and then, and she just answered off the cuff, we could have just had that 5 minute chat there and then. And I know she probably would have said the exact same thing. Yeah, yeah, we've already seen your stuff. We love you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because I went through the channels of like, hi, dates available, like, would love to chat further. And then a couple of days later, she was like, yeah, yeah, great, great to chat whenever. And I went, okay, so what time works for you? Can you do this day? Can you do this day? Can you, you know,
Should
I've,
have just rung
I've,
her.
I've not listened there. She literally said to me, yeah, just whenever, like, I'm happy to chat whenever. I could have just rung her,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
but I
But
didn't. I
people
went,
don't want the drawn out process of going to the website for the night you inquire for, arranging a meeting, doing is it. Sometimes a simple phone call, certainly in your world, can you can get the booking over the phone.
mm,
Different for me. I need to meet my couples, but I think generally you don't need to go down that road. Sometimes people just want to book quick. Sometimes people make quick decisions. I'm very much like that. If I've made my mind about I want something, I don't want a drawn out process. I just go and buy it or just go and do it.
yeah.
Uh, so okay, there's a few 1% there. Hope people have got value from that.
I, this is what I was thinking about the other day after listening to Will, and obviously after Will's episode went out. All these 1% that you can do to elevate the overall experience for the couples. Certainly in videography world, but I imagine for any type of supplier, if you do a good job on the wedding day and you deliver your service and it's great and they're happy and they come away from the wedding, oh yeah, they were great. Maybe down the line they might recommend you if their friends are getting married, they might go, "Oh, your wedding, who did you have?" "Oh yeah, we had Adam or Howard." "Yeah, yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were great." The extra 1% that you can take it in terms of your relationship with them and connecting to them when it comes to after the wedding. So, we'll get on to like having meetings with couples. I think having the meeting with them rather than just chatting everything over the phone, you can really connect with them. You can really sell the experience to them and you can manage their expectations. There's so many reasons and benefits to doing a meeting so that when the wedding day comes around, they already know what to expect from you. They already know your personality. It makes the wedding day go that little bit more seamless. Then you're awesome on the day and do all the 1% on the day. So then after the wedding, their opinion of you is already up here. Like for me, for video, before I've delivered anything, because they've not seen the finished video, they leave the wedding going, Adam was amazing. We loved him. So their opinion's up here. Even if I deliver, like, as long as the film's okay and it covers all the main stuff, they're still going to think that I'm the best. If their experience of me on the day or in the lead up to the day was like, yeah, he was fine. We've not really heard much from him. Like, but he sent us emails. I'm assuming he's going to turn up. He seems fat. He seems nice. You've then got to work really hard on the wedding day to make them like really love you. And then if there's any issues with any of that, they're like, oh, the cogs start turning. They go, actually, when you think back to it, yeah, he was a bit sporadic on the in the lead up, and the cogs start. I've seen couples, and I've spoke to a couple of in the past that had a different videographer, and they were waiting for the film, and the longer they waited for the film, the more they were like,
Annoyed.
yeah, because they got a little bit annoyed because they were starting to like it was taking longer than they expected, and they were like, actually, now that we think about it, on the day there was a moment where they were just sat down and they had one of them one time I saw them drinking a beer and they start everything suddenly has a negative slant on it rather than oh yeah he was great he joined in he had a beer but because they've
Yeah,
waited for so long for the film they're like oh yeah well he did sit and have a drink didn't he at that one point and he was wearing trainers I didn't really like that actually come to think about it and then the cogs start turning so if you can really elevate the experience in the lead up and they already think you're amazing then job done as long as you deliver your good product. If you've just been like down the middle, like, yeah, he's nice. Communication was fine. You've then got to really nail the actual product to get them to come back to an amazing. And going back to my point, the people that really love you, where you absolutely nail every aspect of it, they don't they won't wait for their friends to come to them and say, "We're getting married. Have you got any recommendations?" They will proactively go out and seek their friends. Just in you've got engaged, you need if you do one thing, you need to book Adam, you need to book Howard. Like I know you didn't ask for advice, but you've got to get them because and they're cheerleading you to everybody, and it's all because you've went that extra little mile. Versus like, yeah, we had this person. They were great, yeah. Like
love
my
that.
some of my couples will like they'll message me and they go, "Oh, my friend just got engaged. I'm gonna go and tell him to get you because we need to see you again. We just want to hang out again. We miss
Yeah,
you."
mate, I've had
You know
that.
what I
I've
mean?
had that. It's so good. But it's because you like you say, not just delivering a great product, but what you've done beforehand and on the day matters so much. I mean,
You're
this is
creating
why the
these one
meeting's important,
percent.
isn't it? But
These
but
one percents create a
yeah,
little cheerleading squad of people that are gonna forever shout about you and never
yeah.
forget. You know.
Yeah, certainly that final meeting for me is super important. And you know what? It's not really it's not always about them. It's actually sometimes about me. It's like I want to turn up at their wedding and I want to feel relaxed in their company. I do
Mm,
it so they feel relaxed in my company, but it also works the other way. Do
mm.
you know what I mean?
But you,
And
you
and
need you need to manage your expectations as well. Like you do it in a positive way so that they're really excited. But you also like for me to be able to do my job properly, I need to be really clear about what it is that I'm going to do and what they can expect and what they will get from me. Because if you don't make stipulate all that, their imagination runs away with them. They've seen something online. They might just assume, oh yeah, most singers do Sweet Caroline. We'll just like I'm sure Howard will do that. And then when you don't do it because it was never a plan for you to do that, then it's like, oh, you never did that. We were expecting it. Whereas you need to really tell them what it is you did. Like for me, for video, it's like when I deliver my film, oh, we were expecting it to be like an hour long and it's only 20 minutes long. And it's like, unless I tell them that the film they'll get is 20 minutes long.
yeah,
So it's not like a bad thing. It's just that you really need to make sure that they're on the same page that you're on. So the meeting can manage their expectations in that way. But then also it's just about getting them super hyped. I met a couple last week, and this was really like gratifying for me because she said when we met at my local like pub that I tried to meet couples at, and she came in and obviously I've met them before at another wedding. I've bumped into them at a wedding fair a few months ago. So when they walk through the door, I already knew like what they look like, and that can make a difference. Just trying to find out, even if you stalk them on socials, just to know what they look like. So when they walk in, you're not just sat there like twiddling your thumbs, like, or when you walk in, if they're already there, you can go straight to them and go, guys, it's you. Hi, how you doing? And it's almost like we're already mates. And this bride that I met last week, she said, we saw you at the wedding fair the other month, and it just meant so much to me that when we walked through the door of the room at the wedding fair, you recognized us instantly, and we really felt like we knew you, and it was like that meant a lot because. And she said this to me last week. She said after we'd seen you at the wedding fair, we went next door and we spoke to one of the other suppliers who we'd booked, and they didn't recognize us straight away. And it wasn't until I had to go over to them and say hello and tell them what my date was that they went, "Oh yeah, it's you, yeah, yeah." And so she said it was like, after coming and seeing you, and you were so bubbly and like you recognized us and you were dead excited, and it like rubbed off on us. And then we went next door and someone didn't do that. It was almost like, oh, I hope we've made the right choice here. And so when she told me that last week at our final meeting, I was just like, right, there you go. All that effort that I go to make sure that I connect with couples, it's worth it.
Yeah, as opposed to a story which we heard a while ago from another friend of ours. I'm not going to name any names. Opened the door at a wedding venue. An oldish guy was stood there who he thought was the father of the bride. It actually was the groom.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
How
don't ever
awkward
do
must
that.
that have been? How awkward must that have been? Oh, where's your daughter? No, that's my wife. We're getting married. Oh shit! Sorry. This is why you need to do your homework on your couples because you don't ever want that to happen.
There's have you ever like because obviously you do that with your couple, but if you can do that with the family as well, like the it's happened. I've heard stories and it's happened to me in the past where, oh, is are you having like a first look with your dad? No, I don't. Me and my dad don't get on. Like, no. And like, do you know what I mean? I really like. I reminded her of the negative relationship with her dad like five
Yeah.
minutes before she's about to get married, and it was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, no, it's
Or
fine. Yeah, we
yeah.
just
Oh
don't.
no, my dad's passed away. And like,
Or
oh
that,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just shifts the mood, and then the mood's changed, and it's your fault. Oh, it's a horrible hole to have to try and dig yourself out of.
So there's the 1%. Really know your couple and go the extra mile. Learn about them, and certainly do not get the groom and the father of the bride mixed up. There's your 1%. Definitely know your couple. Know your couple. Uh, I love that. That's
Funny,
so cool.
yeah. But yeah, I suppose on the day, the next step, the wedding day, Dan, this is where Will touched on a lot of what he was saying was on the day, wasn't it? Like getting there early, making sure that you're on hand to just walk into the venue and greet people first before you start unloading your kit, and staying later on and making sure you're available to chat to suppliers and family members and yada yada. Um,
But right from the start, even like, and I do this now because I'd experienced many years ago, is making sure that I've got enough time plus an extra hour, if not two, on that journey time. Um, I got stuck on a motorway once and turned up late at the wedding. I thought from that moment, it's like this has never happened again. I mean, it was a
oh
freak
yeah,
thing. It was a freak thing. I was stuck on the motorway for about 2 hours, and so those are the extra 1%, aren't they? Well prepared. Make sure you set up well in good time.
it
Get to
is
the
a
venue,
freak thing.
even prior to that, another 1% is if you don't know the venue, ring the venue up and have a chat with the people that run the weddings, and
Mm.
introduce yourself. That's an extra 1% you can do because they remember that as well. Oh, we worked with this guy for the first time. He was so good. He rang us up. He introduced himself. He let us know what he was going to do. There's a 1% there, 100%. Turning up early and then going and introducing yourself to the people who run the venue. As soon as you arrive, and not being a dick on the day is another 1%.
I've got a
Um,
1%. Like if there's any planners, coordinators, when venue people listening, um, the wedding I had last weekend at Saltmarsh Hall, first time I've been there, the staff were unbelievable. Amy and Sam in particular, they couldn't do it. You know those venues where they're like checking in, making sure you've got everything. Do you want a brew? Can I make you a drink? Can I get you anything?
Unreal, mate.
If you need a drink, by the way, go to the bar, tell them you're a supplier, they'll sort you out. Like literally all day. Is the lighting okay for you in here? Do you need us to do anything? Coming and finding us, right? Just to let you know we're about to do this with the couple. Like, do you want to? And just like it's not their job to be checking in on the photo and videographer to make sure that we've got everything we need. But that is a one
Yeah.
percent.
You know,
That
you know, they're actually doing the 1%.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Um, and I tell you why it matters so much is I did a wedding a couple of years ago, and it was with you, Adam. The venue was stunning. The woman running the venue was horrendous, and I've had conversation with couples who were thinking of booking that venue, and I've pretty much said to them, if this woman is working the wedding, I ain't fucking doing it.
It's
She was that
interesting
bad.
that.
It
Yeah,
was
I
that
know.
bad of an experience, not just for me. I know it was for you as well. And even when the DJ turned up at night, he's like, "Oh, have you met such and such?" She's a
See,
nightmare, isn't she?
it's
Now, and yeah,
interesting.
she's a nightmare. And I'm going to tell everybody about it and take. And who knows? You know, those people think, shit, yeah, she's still there. And I said, look, it's a detriment to your day. Do you want somebody like that on your wedding all day with you? It makes you think. It's like, no, I like the venue, but the overall experience is what really matters.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting. And just to caveat that is quite interesting because obviously I remember who you're talking about. I remember the wedding. It doesn't impact me the same. So I didn't have as much to deal with that person as you did, and it didn't impact me the same. So I'm not as vocal about going, oh no, no, make sure you don't. Like it was didn't really matter to me. But this is where for anyone listening, you just don't know who your audience is. Like she can get away with it for me because it doesn't matter, but you never know who you're talking to. Like for you, it made a big difference to your day. It made a big difference to the DJ's day. So you're always on show, aren't you? And that's suppliers and like
and
guests, family
and
members alike.
yeah, and venue owners and people that run the weddings as well. You know,
Mm.
you if I'm running a wedding, I want to give a good experience for my bride and groom, but also to the suppliers that are there because we're all a big family, and we just want the best for our couples at the end of the day. We want their experience to be fantastic, and the last thing you want is
Most of us do, yeah.
well, the last thing you want is like a bolshy, bossy, unfriendly person who's going to be guiding you through your wedding on the day, and for me, I think that's so important that I will actually go out my way and tell couples, you know, and give advice and say, look, just to warn you, ask for a different wedding coordinator because that person had pissed all the suppliers off on the day, pissed a lot of the venue, pissed a lot of the guests off.
Mm.
And they were like the fun police. So
Mm.
you don't want that on your wedding. They're like, fucking no, of course we don't. Of course we don't. No, we want it to be a great, relaxed, fun day.
Yeah, and you're not saying that to just like influence them and to make your day better, but like it genuinely will. It's you're
Yeah.
saying it because you mean like you mean it. Like it does.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
you
absolutely.
wouldn't.
It's like I talk about experience from my own wedding where we were just guided who we booked for photography, or I can't remember what it was, but they didn't give us me really and the guests a good experience. And I always come back to that when I recommend photographers, for instance, and video. I say, look, what you want is you want somebody who's going to be friendly on the day, get on with everybody, get what
Mm.
they need to get, not take too much of your time up, but just somebody who's great to be around. And you know, you want that relaxed vibe on your wedding rather than feel you're being bossed around and sort of ushered everywhere and everything's going to be staged. So it matters, you know, it really does on both parts. So oh, I get passionate about this sort of stuff. You know what? For me, what it really freaking annoys me. This is somebody's biggest day of their life. Every aspect has got to be bang on,
Mm.
friendly, fun, all working to the same goal of giving them a great experience. And if you're pissing off your wedding suppliers, you're not giving your bride and groom a great experience because you're pissing off the wedding suppliers. You know, unless the wedding suppliers are a complete bellend, but um, because there's a few of them in the industry, isn't there?
Well, yeah, but you've got to work alongside. Like I've come up against other suppliers that I've kind of not rubbed shoulders with, but like I've not enjoyed working with them. And there was one time in particular where the couple, I was trying my best to not let it be noticeable to the couple, but then at one point the couple came to me and apologized for the photographer it was. Um, they were like, look, and do you know what is? I mean, that's good that I've hopefully made a good enough impression that they've come to me and apologized for him rather than the other way around. Because they could have just gone, oh, they're not getting on, them two, but they didn't. They saw clearly that it was the photographer that was being a nightmare and stopping me from doing my job, and they came and apologized. Like, I'm really sorry, but it's like, no, it's fine. Just like as long as you guys are happy, it doesn't. I'll work with anyone. Like, I just want you guys to have a good time. Um, but that's that in itself, just to you constantly be trying to go that 1% further every every time because you can have an off day, you can turn up and I'm not feeling today, but it is the couple's like biggest day of their life. So why should they lose out because you're not in the mood or so
Yeah.
you have to turn it on every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. But and it just goes to show. I mean, that photographer, you know, you work with that you didn't get on with. Well, you're not gonna recommend them. but maybe you would have recommended them if they were great to work with and they were like good fun and they
No,
showed
of
the
course I would have. Yeah,
appreciation.
yeah, yeah. If we got on really great, the couple buzzed off of them and us together, and then the works. Because for me as a supplier, I care more about what they were like to hang out with for me, and what like especially photographers for me. Like I'm thinking about how our dynamic elevated the couple's experience. Like I want to get on with them personally, but I also want to see that they are really good with the couple because if they're really good with the couple, I can feed off the back of that and also elevate what I'm doing with the couple. Um, so I care like 90% about that, and then 10%, well, is the work good? Yeah, it's solid, fine. I don't care if it's amazing or just really, really good. All I care about, if it's really awful, I probably wouldn't recommend them. But chances are, most of us are doing a half decent end product. It's the rest of it that makes the difference. So I think most suppliers recommend other suppliers based on what they like to work with rather than the actual work itself. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, million percent, million percent. Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of friends that kind of recommend me. Do they think I'm the best singer in the industry? No, but they like working with me, and I like working with them. And like you said, I give a solid performance, give a great, a great act from a couple, and give a great experience, and that's good. But the other stuff is equally as important,
Mm.
if not more
If
important.
not more. If
Yeah.
not
All
more.
right. Cool. So some good 1% there. I think people can pick up on. And then beyond the wedding, where's the next 1% after the wedding? Follow up thank yous.
Well, yeah, something I always do is message them the day after and just say like, yesterday was great. Thanks for having us. How's your head? Hope you've had a good time. Like in some cases, I'm sending like teasers and footage for them to look at. Um, like as soon as possible the day after like if I know I'm delivering a teaser to the couple, and the way I offer the teasers is they would get it within a few days. I will try and get it to them the next day because like that is I know from my own wedding how powerful that is to get it. If you can give it to them there the next morning whilst they're maybe still at the venue and all the guests are coming down and hanging out for breakfast, and you can show them something from yesterday. And this goes like because I've seen you do this, Howard. Like you're not a videographer, but you film your little part of the day, and then if you send them that the next morning, they're gonna just be like, "Oh, last night was so great! Like, oh, we need to like, I can't wait to see some photos and videos from people." And then you send them something, and they're at breakfast with all the guests, and they're talking about you again because they're like, "Oh, he's just sent us this. Wasn't he great?" Blah blah. So you can really catch them in that height of the bubble. But just to say thanks and just like last night was great. Really enjoyed like spending time with you. Hope you had a great night. Blah blah. That makes a difference.
There's two 1% in there, isn't there? So there's
Yep.
one is contact the next day and say thank you for having me. In fact, there's three because there's another one you're sending a proper teaser, and the other one is sending them little highlights or little bang or whatever, just little clips from their wedding day.
Hmm.
From my perspective, that's another little edge.
I think just having recently got married, it doesn't matter what service you're doing. If you can share anything, like even on our wedding, the florist sent us just some of her behind the scenes pictures of her setting up. And I just wanted to see anything and everything from my wedding. In those first few days after it, you're on such a high and you just wish all you're thinking about is I wish I could relive it. I wish I could go back to it. So just having anything from the day, from anyone's perspective,
You're in the
is
bubble.
yeah, is
You're in the
is is
bubble.
bonus, and you're just grateful for anything. Our Lucy, the planner, sent us like I don't know 60 pictures from that she'd just taken throughout the day on her phone. The next day, and I was just like, some of them are like similar pictures that we've already got from like the professional photos, but some of them she's captured like moments that were happening elsewhere, and so it's like even now I cherish some of those photos that she got, and she didn't need to do it, but she's just
Yeah.
nice, she's just nice.
And I suppose
Um,
the extra 1% from from then onwards is reliving their day for them with every occasional post, maybe on your Instagram or your Facebook where you tag them in
yeah,
every now and again. And I do it a few times. I get quite a bit of content of myself, But then the photographer or the videographer, when they've delivered their images and their video, they might send me those links. If they're doing the 1% there, and then I can reshare their stuff again and relive the experience 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. Sometimes,
I think
I think. Go on.
I was going to say this is probably the biggest area where people can improve their business because after the wedding day's done, after your service has been completed, you're we were all busy, get into wedding season, you're like, right, that one's done, great, sorted, on to the next one. You can really stand out and if you want to go that 1% further, it's after the wedding day and the keeping the communication and the relationship with them that can make that difference. We were talking off air about anniversary posts, and I was chatting to one of my brides from last year yesterday because she'd put something on her Instagram, and I said happy anniversary, and then we ended up chatting. They've had a kid since, and how's things, how's the family, da, da. And it just keeps us connected, keeps me in their mind moving forward. So it's taking the time to do those things and keep those relationships going.
You the instant recommend, and people always say, "Oh, how could you have a wedding without Adam doing it?" Or you can't have a wedding
Mm.
without Howard doing it, and it's because of the relationship,
It
which
goes back to what I was saying. Your couples just, if they really loved you, they'll probably want to see you again because the chances are you're never going to see them again, but they want to, so they recommend you to their friends. Just selfishly, they just want to hang out.
I know, and I see him at weddings, and they're like, "Howard, I'm so glad they booked you," and it's like, "Yay!"
Yeah, it's almost like a wedding reunion for them because it's
Yeah, it's
like
great. It's great.
it's lovely. It's
Yeah,
lovely.
yeah.
But then what else? I don't know. What else can you do after the wedding to try and elevate things?
Well, I mean, you can actually ask for like reviews and things like that on Google, whatever.
Mm. Mm.
Again, it's another bit of communication. I suppose you're asking stuff from them, but certainly giving,
But yeah, but if you've nourished and built them up into a relationship where they're willing to do, like they're so grateful for everything, then they're more likely to be fine. Like oh, he's hounding us for a review. But if you've really like nurtured that relationship, then
they're
of course they're
really
going to
happy.
do it.
They're really
Yeah.
happy to do it in
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and I kind of pick and choose which ones I ask to do that. Uh, Certainly ones that I think, yeah, they'll be fine doing it. I think it's kind of picking and choosing. Um, but yeah, like you said, they're more likely to do something because you've got that great relationship with them. You've smashed it on the day.
How do you approach the video reviews or like voice note reviews as opposed to just sending them a Google link?
I mean, God, years ago, I used to have my camera after I'd done my wedding, and on the turnaround, I used to go and ask them, "Could you do me a little video?" And like I said, because of our relationship build before that, most couples or a lot of couples were really happy to do that. Again, I was kind of picked and choose. I don't really do it as much now. Certainly, I've done a few when they're really pissed and like, "How great!" I did have some couples come round here. Um, and do it here in my office. I've done that. But I think what works good now is asking them for just a voice note testimonial and then using bits of footage from the day and then overlay that. And I think that works as a really good
Mm.
one rather
Uh,
than
yeah,
trying
and
to trying to
certainly.
put a pressure on them to film something. Some would really want to do it, a lot won't. So I think following up with that bit of a voice note testimonial, which you can then use. I think that's a good way to do it. I think it's pinned on my number two videos on my Instagram at the top. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Um,
I think the like moving forward as well, like this generate new generation now of brides are more sort of comfortable and used to content and selfies and being and voice noters. Like, most people are more accepting of voice notes now. So I think if anything, the modern couple are more likely to be happy to leave a voice note.
yeah, because then if they
Am I
don't
making
like it,
sense? Yeah.
they can just delete it and start again, and they can. Do you know what I mean? So if you put a camera in there to right, say stuff, and they're like, "Shit," they're not prepared, and
Mm.
you kind of guide them what to say. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the voice note idea is good. I own the voice note now, and I don't know. I hope you don't mind, but I hate typing. I hate texting. And it's funny. We're talking about this morning with somebody where it's like, well, somebody sends you a text and your voice note back, and that person's thinking, I didn't want a voice note. I just wanted a text.
I have a
It's
I have
like,
a real love-hate relationship with it generally, but especially when I talk to you in particular, because I know that if I send you a text message that just requires a yes or no answer, you're gonna you're gonna send me like a 30-second voice note going, yeah, okay, mate, got your message. Yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick voice note. Yeah, got that, read that. Yeah, all good. Okay. Yeah, that was it really. All right. I'll speak to you later. Bye bye.
You're
And it's
such a
just like
visual bastard.
it's lovely to hear your voice all the time. Um,
All the time.
but
Oh,
you
mate.
know, but then obviously there is plenty of times where I will like go I will actively voice note because it is just easier than saying what I need
Miles
to say.
easier. It's miles easier. I hate the predictive
And then I'm
text.
like,
Getting
oh,
things
I
wrong.
can I complain about him voice noting me, but here I am voice noting him. So yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. Love
But
that.
it's not in couples, going back to communication and like, if you can, we've spoke to people on the podcast before about um getting them onto WhatsApp and certainly once they've booked you, you can have that more informal relationship with them back and forth in over WhatsApp and stuff. Um, how do you, because I wouldn't voice note someone unless they were voice noters themselves. I don't know if I would go in with a voice note straight away, but I
I'm
suppose for
straight in.
some
Straight in with
people
the
would
voice
love that.
note. Yeah, I'm straight
Mm,
in with the voice note, me.
I
Hey
think
there,
now,
thanks for asking about your wedding.
I think now because they automatically get transcribed on a lot of apps and a lot of phones now, don't they? But I remember a story I heard off someone one time where they voice noted someone like a 3 minute. Oh yeah, I just thought I'd voice note it. It's quicker than typing it, and went into a big long spiel, and they got a reply saying, "Hi, I'm deaf. Please, can you type that?"
Please, can you type it all out again?
It's just wasted your time because I can't hear a word of what you're saying because I'm deaf. And so the lesson for that person was like, oh, how awful that I've just assumed that they would be able to listen to my big long rant.
That's rare, though. It's got to be rare
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
of
know you're
course,
never going
yeah.
to ask the question, are you? I'm going to leave you a voice note. I can just check if you're deaf or not first. That's not. Yeah,
No, but
mate, I've left.
it's
I've
more.
left 5 minute voice notes before to people and thought,
I
shit,
know,
I've got on a bit there.
yeah, but I suppose it's more just gauging. It touches on like the video testimonials and who you ask, and you've just really got to gauge who the couple are and whether they're those kind of you've just got to kind of take a risk of like they seem like voice notey people. I think that's safe.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
No, I'm just going to I voice note anyway.
versus others that I'm not saying like, oh, he looks like he might be deaf. I won't voice note him, but it's more like they don't seem like a voice notey couple. I don't know. It's like sending emojis and gifs to people. Some would consider that unprofessional. Some would love it. So
Yeah,
you just don't know. But then that's
yeah.
where it comes into trying to find your people, doesn't it?
God, people are weird. We've got so much shit we have to fucking deal with. Should I send an emoji? Should I not? Should I voice note? Should I not? It's God, mate. It's just it's ever evolving, isn't it?
Yeah.
For me, with the emoji thing, if I'm getting an emoji from a couple, they're getting
Yeah.
emojis back.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
I'm
there you
not
go.
getting an emoji, they're
This
not
is what I
getting an
mean.
emoji back.
I'd let them lead with it. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Because it's like I have this with meetings. I'm more of a hugger in general, but also I know that some people would maybe be freaked out if I just hugged them if we'd never met. So when couples come for a meeting, I always go in with handshake first, and then gauge on and then the parting one at the end.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We'll see. But if they come in, I just like hesitate for half a second to see what they do. If they put a hand out, then obviously handshake. If they kind of go lean in for, I'm like, oh yeah, you're a hugger, great. I just try and let them lead it rather than.
Well, maybe you could ask the question. Are you no? Because that puts pressure, doesn't it? Are you a hugger or are you not? Because if somebody says they're not a hugger, then it's not really good, is it? So,
But then
uh,
they
I
put
just go
their
in for the I just go in for the hug now.
yeah. But what if they put their hand out and you try and hug them and they end up just like
Come
poking you
here.
straight? They poke you straight in the nuts with the hand because you've gone in for a hug.
I know. I just kind of do it. Yeah. Again, all these things we have to think about. Uh,
Well, you don't, but you
I love
do
it if I
because
get it. If I
you
get it with the guy where it's one of them and then it's followed in with like a oh
yeah.
shit.
That's the right way. Yeah, yeah,
That's the great one.
yeah.
Uh, but then the hug with the girl. Yeah, I mean, a couple that came yesterday. It was fine for a hug. Yeah, but you're right. You're right. You've got to
You
try
only
to be
care
fair,
about
because
these
some people
things,
might not be huggers. So.
and we only think about these things because we want to be the best and do the best that we can. And I think it's good. And these are the 1% details that most people probably don't agonize over. But for me, it's like real anxiety.
I wonder if we can put this episode into Gemini or chat and ask it how many 1% details did we go over, and then we can put that in our caption, can't we?
It's 30 million. You said 1% quite a lot of times.
And there's probably so many more, isn't there? Probably more than we can go over. But I think we've covered quite a lot today, there, Adam. To be honest, I just wanted to
Yes,
get it
that'll
out. I
do.
just wanted to get it out. I think it was so important, after that podcast with Will, that I thought I've got to follow up with this because these are all little details that make the difference.
Yeah, and he kind of just touched on it as part of his podcast, and it's like, oh, actually, that's a really big topic that I was thinking about for ages afterwards. What can I do more? How can I? I actually have in my notes. I've had this for a while, so in my notes app that I have for my couples for each wedding, all the details of the couple. I um I've copy and pasted. It says, let me find it. I put on every single notes on every single wedding. I put 1% gains on every wedding in capitals. How can I elevate today? And I write that little note and copy and paste it on every wedding, just as a visual reminder to always be thinking about it. Every time I go to a wedding, what can I do extra today? Um,
Good that. It's good to get the reminder because you get in the zone sometimes, one wedding after the other.
yeah,
And
you
it's like,
forget. Yeah, it's easy to forget. But just
okay,
just chatting to Will really made me think about it, and yeah, hopefully we've touched on a few more there.
yeah, good. Well, I hope everybody's got something out of this one because I just thought it was so important to get out. So
Yeah,
yes, I hope everybody's listening or watching has got something from this one. And if you
and I will point
maybe
out,
maybe you've got another 1% you want to share, just drop it in the comments. Leave it on a post on Instagram. If you're watching it on YouTube, drop it in the comments. We'd love to know what other 1% you think you can.
DM us on Insta. I was just going to touch on as well. Obviously, the newsletter goes out every week for anyone who's not subscribed to the newsletter yet. We want you to listen to this podcast and consume it however you so wish. But also, if you just want the condensed, nuggeted, like written version, we send it out in a newsletter as well with all the key bits. So I'm sure that will be able to, by the time we've written that, we'll have a list of all the things that we've mentioned in our ramblings, and it'll be a condensed list of 30 things that you can go and do.
We need to make a big PDF, don't we? And just call it the 1% and give that away free to people. Maybe we should do that.
Good idea. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Brilliant. All right.
Okay.
Thanks
Thanks.
for jumping on.
How do you find it not having a guest? It feels weird just talking the whole time.
No, I think we need to do this.
Quite like it.
I
Yeah, we should.
think if something crops up that we think is really important to get out there, we should just let's just do it, and we can put out more content then, can't we? So, are we still filming? Are we still recording?
No, that's it. Say goodbye, Howard.
Goodbye, Howard.
Goodbye, Howard. So, thanks so much for listening. We really hope that you found this episode insightful, inspirational, and if you did enjoy that, then please consider subscribing to us wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. We're a Think Wedding Business.
We're also on YouTube and Instagram. So if you want to watch us, you can go over to YouTube and find us at Think Wedding Business. And the same over on Instagram to keep up with all of our future episodes.
We'd really love you to subscribe and join us on this journey. And if you do like this content, please consider giving us a 5-star review. It just helps us get seen and helps spread the word.
So thanks again for listening,
Wings
and we'll see you
out.
next time.
Bye-bye.